are the strategic and humanitarian implications of the Israeli full-scale, ground offensive, if that's what they're calling it, even though it's an invasion and a seizure of Gaza City?
Well, it seems, Raham, that the Netanyahu government now is taking the crisis in Gaza to a point of no return, meaning that the implications of what is to come will be detrimental to the stability and the security of the region at large, and not only the occupied Palestinian territories. And the implications will be very long lasting and will certainly go beyond the borders of historical Palestine if Israel sees through its entire plans to destroy Gaza City. And of course, for further context, Gaza City, the offensive on Gaza City actually started a few months ago, and Israel already occupies about 45% of the city, especially the southern suburbs and outskirts and some parts of the eastern parts of the city. And they were demolishing these parts. However, now they are entering the downtown area, the main town, the center of the city itself. And of course, the city is the largest urban center in the Gaza Strip. And it is also one of the few remaining relatively standing urban spaces in the Gaza Strip, even though it has been thoroughly devastated by the war over the past roughly 2 years. It was subjected to intensive airstrikes. The Israeli army did carry out incursions into the city, but now they seek to replicate the model they established in Beit Hanun, in Beit Lahia, in Rafah, in huge parts of Khan Yunis, in Gaza City, meaning they wish to obliterate and flatten the city entirely and displace 1 million Palestinians out of the city to central and southern Gaza.
Which kind of brings on the next point here, sir. I mean, the Israeli army is always claiming things like when they're bombing the hospitals or, bringing down residential towers. The claim is always it's operations essential, basically, to defeat Hamas and secure the release of the captives. Now, this tariff argument, do you believe it is something that the world may agree with, or is it actually endangering the captives' lives and also endangering, obviously, the civilians living in Gaza, as well as making it unlivable?
Of course, fascist claims, as usual, lies, absolute Israeli lies. The Israelis now, I think that the Israeli government does not hold the safety of the hostages as a priority anymore. And if there are some signs of some sense of coordination between the Israelis and the Americans now on how to justify the death of the remaining detainees and hostages in the Gaza Strip. When President Trump goes on social media and claims that Hamas is now going to use the detainees as human shields and that he is warning them of the consequences, meaning he is laying the responsibility on them now and exonerating Israel, which is escalating the war by invading Gaza City and attempting to destroy it, which endangers naturally the remaining detainees in the captivity of Hamas and the other resistance factions. So now it seems that they are laying the groundworks for that. And of course, all of the Israeli justifications for their naked aggression and their new act of ethnic cleansing and forced displacement and mass killings. Of course, these combined, do you know what do they constitute, Reham? They constitute genocide.
Yeah, the report just came out today about that.
Yes, exactly. which what the UN Commission has finally decided after very intensive investigations for the past couple of years. So as you can see, the Israelis right now, they are using false pretexts and false claims to destroy Gaza City with the aim of moving the entirety of the population of Gaza to the southern area of Al-Mawasi in the Gaza Strip, 5 kilometers away from the border with Egypt. And this is very dangerous, by the way. So there are already about 1 million plus 1.4 million Palestinians now in southern Gaza. And now they are attempting to move the remaining 600,000 Palestinians in northern Gaza. They were 1 million, about 400,000 fled due to the Israeli bombardment. Now they seek to move the rest of them to the south. This means that they are downsizing the Gaza Strip. And of course, if we link this to previous reports, if you remember, Raham, about the possibility of annexing parts of the Gaza Strip, especially northern Gaza, Ben Gvir, the Minister of National Security, promised during a conference with fellow security officers, the officers of his ministry, telling them, I promise you, I will build you a compound, a sea view compound in in the place that used to be called Gaza City as a reward for your services. This shows you the true intentions behind very prominent factions in this Israeli government, which is land acquisition, annexation of parts of the Gaza Strip, especially the north, and of course, the displacement of the Palestinians.
Well, now you brought up the idea of having the Palestinians living in the north and middle areas of Gaza City to move southwards. Now, the forcible displacement, what does it actually mean for the broader humanitarian crisis within Gaza and shelter for these people?
It will only deepen the crisis. You saw those horrendous videos of the destruction of the great towers in Gaza, how they took out these towers one tower after another. Each and every one of these mega towers housed thousands of civilian refugees and displaced persons, not only residents, by the way, because these huge buildings were used as sanctuaries. Now, by taking them out and moving those hundreds of thousands of people, of tens of thousands of families out of the Gaza City into an already overcrowded area in central Gaza that is in al-Nusayrat and Deir al-Balah, and to an even more overcrowded area in southern Gaza, and that is al-Mawasi area, it will only deepen the humanitarian crisis and turn it into a full-scale catastrophe of gargantuan proportions, Rehan. We will see more starvation, more death, more mass killings. That today, just with the beginning of the main phase of the ground operation in Gaza City, about 100 civilians have died already, and of course that is probably an underestimate. The numbers might be much higher. So the human suffering will increase. Israel is still stifling the entry of humanitarian aid, whether from its own border crossings with the Gaza Strip or from its border, the Gaza-Egypt border, the Karam-Abu Salim border crossing, as because you well know the Rafah border crossing is closed from the Israeli side or from the Palestinian side due to the Israeli occupation of the Rafah area. So as you can see, they are creating this humanitarian crisis. It's a man-made humanitarian crisis designed to make life impossible for the people of Gaza, so that eventually Gaza would be depopulated, Rehan. This is the ultimate aim of the Israelis.
Well, now, since we're talking about the ultimate aim here, now the Israelis have said that their timeline for ending the Gaza City operation is by year's end. Is this something that they're just saying to ease pressure off of them, or are they planning long-term, occupation of Gaza City? And what are the risks of a possible prolonged campaign here?
They are already hinting that this will be a very long campaign that will even go beyond Gaza City. They said that it will take us a few weeks to clear Gaza City, occupy it, and eventually demolish it, of course. And then the Israeli Chief of Staff, General Eyal Zamir, said something that is very interesting and, of course, indicates of the dangers that are to come. He said, word for word, that the occupation of Gaza City and its depopulation, of course, will not be sufficient to destroy Hamas and defeat it definitively. So we will need to move our operations afterwards to central Gaza, to Deir al-Balah, and to al-Nusayrat, meaning that the two last remaining urban spaces, those two big refugee camps or towns, will be destroyed as well in another ground operation after Gaza, so that everyone will be in the south by the end of this war. And I think the estimates that they will continue this war for from 6 months to even another year, unfortunately. And why are they capable of undertaking such a sinister mission, Rehan? It's because the US supports them unconditionally and tells them, yes, attaboy, go do whatever you want, go kill more civilians, go occupy Gaza, go depopulate cities and destroy cities live on air, go commit genocide, go expand into the borders, into the countries that are bordering you, be aggressive, be a menace, be a threat to everyone. This is the message the US is conveying to Israel and the message the US is conveying to the world. So much for US leadership.